good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. I am so excited that you are here. My name is Deb Erickson, and I am a business mindset coach, and I work in the network marketing and direct selling industry with women who are committed to truly change the world and to get out there and build an organization to empower women, to enrich women's lives around the world. So I am so excited that you guys are here. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you. Good morning, Cindy. Hey, Trina. Hi. Hi, it's good to have you guys. So I'm going to give everybody just a second to get in and get organized. Today, we are going to have an amazing conversation about procrastination. You definitely want something to write with. Don't put it off until tomorrow. Grab something right now as we are going to look at 3 big things that you are really going to want to know. First of all, we're going to talk about procrastination, why it matters. Why should we have a conversation about procrastination? And I will tell you this, it's critical. Understanding procrastination and eliminating procrastination is critical. So we're going to talk about that. Why is it important? Second thing is we're going to talk about why does it happen? Why is it that when you are so committed to growing your business, does it keep showing up? You keep putting off the big stuff, right? The important stuff. You keep shoving things back and racing to the finish line. So we're going to talk about why it happens. And the third thing is we're going to talk about what we can do to change it, right? Why is it showing up? Why is it important? And then the big one is, of course, okay, how can I stop it? How can I use some small tool today to shift that energy for good? So, ready to rock and roll? All right, so let's jump in. Let's talk first about why procrastination is such a significant conversation for us to have. And so first of all, here's what I'm going to tell you is that procrastination, wait for it, it's the biggest threat to your success. Procrastination is the biggest threat to your success. And here's what I mean by that. When you procrastinate, what you are doing is you are pushing things back. What you're saying is not now, later. You're saying not today, not right now. I'll get on to this later. And as you push things back, what happens is you either don't take the action at all, or you wait until the last second and then you race to the finish line and you produce something, I'm going to call it substandard, subpar, some lower level finish than you could or would have had. So when I say this is the thing that is most serious, I will also tell you it's most common. So if you're a leader today, you're showing up and you're saying, Deb, help me. Maybe you're not procrastinating, but maybe your team is procrastinating. So you're saying, hey, if this is the most common threat and the biggest threat to a business, we've got to understand how to stop it. So let's come back to this key where we are talking about why it's so critical to deal with this. Not only is it the biggest threat, but here's maybe even something more important. And that's this, that when you are procrastinating, you are literally teaching your brain a new pathway. So we talk a lot about neuroscience and neuropathways and the neurosuccess or neurofailure of your business. So let me be really specific here. Every single thing you do, you are teaching your brain how to react. So you're saying to your brain, hey, this is the way we do things here. Guys, get it? You're saying this is how we do things in my life. So when you push something back, what you're saying to your brain is, hey, I'm not serious about this. Or you're saying to your brain, I know I said I was going to do it, but I'm really not going to do it. So don't listen to me. Don't take me seriously. Don't listen to me because I really didn't mean it. And as you do that over and over and over again, what you are literally doing is making it harder in the future for you to get things done when you need to get things done. You guys get it? So every single time you procrastinate, every single time you are laying down a new pattern and a new pathway for your future that is very serious. it is a huge threat to your success. So you get it, right? You guys get it? Procrastination is killing you. It's killing your business. It is killing your confidence. It is killing your mindset. We got to stop it. So now that you know why it's so critical, let's talk about where it comes from. Why is it happening? Because here's the thing, it's happening for a legitimate reason, okay? I used to say for a good reason, and then I realized that didn't sound right. It's happening for a legitimate reason. In other words, there's something behind it. So what's behind it? One of two things is behind procrastination. Either fear, right? Fear in the here and now, or it has become a pattern, right, from the past, and it probably originated in fear at some point in time. So let's talk about it. How do we uncover why we are procrastinating? Well, I'm going to give you a question. This is a power question. Write it down, and when you fill in the blank, you will have an indicator of what your brain is avoiding. All right, so let's get it started. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write, if I do this, and then a blank. And then you're going to, after the blank, you're going to say, could happen. So if I do this, blank could happen. Let's get specific. It's almost always fear, but let's figure out exactly what the fear is. Got it? Exactly. So here's what I want you to ask yourself. If I do this, if I take this action, if I make this phone call, if I write this email, if I get on and do a Facebook Live, if I reach out to that person that I'm terrified, if I walk up and start a conversation here, if I ask this person to sell or to buy, okay, be specific on the front end of that statement. And then what I want you to do is close your eyes. Everybody got something? First of all, just pick something. If I blank, what's the blank? If I do this thing, pick something in your mind. And then what I want you to do is close your eyes for a second. And I want you to ask yourself, what's the bad thing that could happen? What's the worst thing that could happen? What is it I'm afraid of? What is it I'm resisting? What is it I would do anything to avoid? I would avoid the experience. I would avoid the emotion. I would avoid the look, the conversation. What is it I'm trying to avoid? Because guys, procrastination is avoidance. So again, what you're saying is, if I do this, and you write out exactly what the activity is that you're procrastinating, and then say, what is it that could happen? And the best way to do it is close your eyes and just feel into that activity. Feel it. And ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen? Somebody'd say no to me, and I would feel rejection. And when I feel rejection, maybe the problem is when you feel rejection, it triggers you. It takes you back to when you were a little girl and all the other popular girls were mean to you. Or maybe it takes you to a place where somebody said no and you felt unloved and unwanted or not enough. Or somebody said to you, you're doing what? You're in that pyramid thing. And what you're feeling is that sense that you're not smart enough, you're not bright enough, that people are challenging you, they're judging you. You guys get it? In other words, this is it, guys. This is why you procrastinate. This feeling that you would do anything to avoid is probably at the core of your procrastination. You don't want to be a target for somebody's anger or judgment. You don't want anybody to question you. You don't want anybody to say no to you. You don't want people to go, oh, avoid her. She's that one. You guys feel it? This is it. So write it down. You got to write it down, guys, because if you write it down, what's happening right now is we are training our brain. See this thing that we think we're so afraid of? We're going to move past it. You guys got it? Good. So fear is one of the greatest motivators for anything you're avoiding. But let me show you one other thing it could be. If you're having trouble finding that fear, then I'll show you something else. There is also procrastination that just is habitual. It's just habitual. In other words, what happens is somewhere along our lifespan, we get in the habit of putting things off or doing fun things first, doing the hard things later, right? We just kind of set things aside. So originally, you would have created that habit one of two ways. You are either avoiding pain or you are moving towards pleasure. So when you're a kid and mom says, hey, you got to do the dishes before you go out and play, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to go play first. I want to have the good stuff first. Guys, get it? So you might avoid chores until later because they didn't feel good, and you move towards something good. And so what happens is that you just simply establish a pattern in your life, a habit in your life, where you always do the fun stuff first. And you push off the things that you're resisting, you're avoiding, you got a little fear, you just don't want to, it's not as fun. You guys got it? So if you are that person that has created a habitual pattern where you always do the cool stuff first, the fun stuff first, the easy stuff first. I have people all the time that call me as a coach and they're like, Dab, I am so busy. I work so hard. And I said, really? Great. Tell me what you do. And they're like, well, I'm cleaning my office and I'm getting things organized. Right? And I'm like, okay, but did you make any phone calls? Did you get on Facebook Live? Did you sell something? Did you set up an appointment? Did you hold a party? Did you hold a class? What are you doing, right? What are you actually doing that's growing the business? And the answer for them is nothing, because they're busy doing easy things or fun things in their business in order to avoid the tough stuff. You guys got it? So what I want you to do today is I want you to get really clear. What am I doing? Is it fear-based? I don't want to fear something, and so I'm avoiding. I don't want to feel that energy. I'm going to avoid this activity, and or could be both. Could be a double whammy, right? Or are you the person that has just created a bad habit of putting off the things that are difficult or the things that aren't as fun? So just notice where you are. You guys got it? All right. So now let's talk a little bit about what can we do about it? So we know it's critical. It's killing your business if you keep doing. Second thing is we know why. It's fear-based, it's habit-based. So now what do we do about it? Now that we have that information, well, now you got to get into action. Now I need to tell you the only way to handle this is to move. Move. So I'll tell you a fun story. I grew up in Seoul, Korea. My dad was a missionary. So I was in Seoul, Korea, and we played basketball. I was athlete of the year. From 6th grade all the way up, right? So I was the school's best athlete. And we played I'm going to call it old lady basketball, because it was the style of basketball that was European basketball years and years and years ago. I'm telling you my age here. But this was when there were 6 people on the court. You had 3 offense and 3 defense, and nobody crossed the middle line. And so I was always on the offense because I was a killer shot, right? So they passed me the ball, I'd take the shot and then stand still because I never had to transition, right? I couldn't cross the middle line. And so when the ball transitioned back to the other side of the court, I just had to stand and wait. Well, I got into a bad habit of procrastinating. When the ball was transitioning to what should have been my defense, I didn't have to play defense. I got into a bad habit. And my bad habit was I just stood and wait. So then we moved back to the U.S. And we moved back to the U.S. right at the point in time when Title IX was taking off. And so I moved into a high school in Chicago, the northeast suburbs of Chicago. And it was their first year for a basketball team. And so my basketball coach was this woman who to this day is one of my childhood heroes because she taught me all about the power of the mind. But the very first game we played in, well, actually, the first practice, I'm on varsity, right? I'm starting varsity point guard, and I take a shot and I just stand there. And I took a shot again the next time down, and I just stood there. Took a shot, and so when everybody else runs down, it was like, oh. And then I would kind of lope down the court. She stops the game. She was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm sorry. You know, that's the way we used to play. She's like, you got to stop it. Well, I couldn't. I could not break the habit. It would take 3, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. I could not move. It was like my feet were planted to the ground. So one day she gets a bullhorn. She sneaks up behind me. I didn't know she was there. So I took the shot and just stood still. And so she has the bullhorn right in my ears. And she's like, run! In that moment, it was like, it was a shock to my brain. What it did, it literally shook my whole brain. And my brain is like, oh, I need to do something different. She did it again and again and again. I think she did it 3 or 4 times throughout that practice. But she was running around with the bullhorn behind me, right? Because she knew she had to break the habit. She had to break it right now, because if she could break it, I would get it. And so she's chasing me around with this bullhorn, only for one practice. That's all it took, guys. One practice changed literally years and years and years of practice in a certain way. Well, I'm here to tell you that's what it takes. What it takes is for you to be able, whether you're doing it inside your head, right, or whatever your mechanism is, you have got to move. Now, I'm going to give you some interesting neuroscience. Scientists will tell us that it takes 3 seconds. There's an impulse to act, or an impulse to do something or not do something. And when you get the impulse, you have 3 seconds. Count it. 1001, 1002, 1003. You have 3 seconds that impulse is alive, right? It's tingling and it's alive. And if you ignore that impulse, give yourself 3 seconds to ignore it, the impulse kind of dissipates and goes away. Got it? So if you have an impulse to do something negative for your business, all you got to do is count to 3. And when you count to 3, the impulse subsides. If you want to say something mean to somebody, count to 3. The impulse subsides, right? If you want to take action, here's the bad news. You only have 3 seconds to take action. Because if you stay put, right? If you stay seated, stay put, and you wait 3 seconds, guess what happens? The stories begin to run in your head. Well, she wouldn't be interested anyway, right? You see that woman from across the room and you're like, I want to go talk to her. I want to go talk to her. And if you hold yourself petrify yourself and hold yourself still for 3 seconds, the impulse to go is gone. So the good impulses will also disappear in 3 seconds. That's why you got to have somebody standing behind you with a bullhorn. Go and say, move, go, run. And so here's what I'm going to tell you, is that you've got 3 seconds to do one of 3 actions, okay? One of 3 actions. When you are on task, so you're doing the thing you should be doing. You're writing the notes, you are making phone calls, whatever it is you're doing, and you get a distraction thought, like I should go do the laundry, or I should go make the lunches for the kids. I should go do something, right? So when you get that impulse to stop doing something you're on task with, you have got to immediately keep yourself on task. So what I say is stay focused, stay focused. And I always use my last name because that's what my coach did. So I'll say, stay focused, Erickson, stay focused. And the minute I say that, boom, I'm back on focus. And the impulse that wants to pull me away disappears. So you have a stay focused impulse. The second one is when you're off task, right? But you want to go on task. So you're playing on Facebook when you really should be making your phone calls, right? Or you see that person that you want to talk to and you should get up and move. You know it's time to do your phone calls, but you are in the middle of doing laundry. And so at that moment, what you got to do is yell, use my Coach Voles, and yell to yourself, go, right now, go. And here's my rule is feet on the floor, right? Feet on the floor. I either stand up immediately, and here's the really cool thing. The minute you stand up, it's like you've already started the motion. You'll just keep going. So stand up. It's just whatever it is you're doing, put it aside, stand up. Yell go in your mind, boom. Because when you break that 3 second rule, when you break the motion, because you were about ready to go into avoidance, when you break it, all of a sudden it's gone. It has no control over you. Got it? And the other side of it is when you are about to do something that moves you away from the task. So maybe it's time to make calls, and instead you say, "Oh, I'll just sit down and relax for a few minutes in front of the TV." In that moment, you got to yell, "Stop!" because you're about to take action in the wrong direction. You got it? All right. So you are either saying, stay focused, or go, or stop. Here's the key. You got to do it in that 3 second window. We're going to yell at yourself. We're going to basically move yourself into action. Feet on the floor. Get moving. Stop that. Go this way. And here's the really cool thing, guys. It sounds like a lot. It sounds like you got to do a lot of stuff. But here's what I'm going to tell you. When you break the cycle of procrastination, when you break the cycle of hesitation, write that down. Some of you are hesitating. You get the impulse and you hesitate. And during that hesitation, bam, you move into procrastination. So when you feel that energy to hesitate, you got to move. Find the word. Find the key, whatever it is. Feet on the floor. Stand up. Get moving. Stay focused. Whatever it is. Keep it short. Keep it tight. Like you are the coach on the floor, yelling in the back of your own head. And I promise you, you will break the cycle. All right. So you got it? Here's what I'm going to ask you to do is I want you to make a commitment today. I want you to say, that's it. Today's the day. Right? Today's the day I'm going to break the cycle. Today's the day I'm going to get my bullhorn out. Today's the day I'm going to change everything. What I want you to do is write down exactly what it is that you are procrastinating. What are you afraid of? I want you to write it down. Because when you declare it, it'll change everything. So I want you to say, Deb, here's what I'm avoiding. I'm terrified of being rejected. And I know where it comes from. It's old stuff. I get it. Good. So now we know what it is. And then what I want you to do is make a statement that says, I know that if I keep doing this, if I keep procrastinating, if I head down this road, I will never achieve my dreams. Bad things are going to happen. I'm always going to be disappointed. I'm always going to be frustrated. I'm always going to have this feeling like I'm not enough and I couldn't do it. And today is the day that I'm going to change all of that. I'm going to stop the procrastination. I'm going to move myself into action. I'm going to stay focused. Once I'm working, I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to change everything. Today's the day. You guys got it? Write it down. Make the declaration. I know you might currently be terrified of something, but guys, we got to change it. We got to change it together. That's why you're here. That's why you show up every single Friday to get these tools and these techniques. You guys get it? All right. I have one more thing I want to give you, and that's this. I'm going to ask you to follow the link. There's actually a link right below this, Ask Deb, and it's going to take you to my brand new, guys, Facebook group called Network Marketing Mindset. I'm going to pack that free group with everything that you need day in and day out. There's going to be a little Monday message for you to get your day started. There's going to be stuff on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, and then Ask Deb on Friday. In other words, I want to help you keep your energy and momentum going. So I'm going to ask you to do two things for me today. One, I want you to share this video with anybody that you say, wow, I've had a conversation with her about my procrastination. I'm going to show her what I'm committed to change. So I want you to send it to somebody who will help you hold you accountable for your own procrastination. That's number one. Number two, I want you to share it with somebody who's been whining about procrastination and say, hey, do this with me. Come on, let's do it together. There's nothing more powerful when two women come together and they commit to a path. It changes everything. So find somebody and share this video and say, hey, let's do this together, right? That's number two. Number three, I want you to write out what it is that you are procrastinating around. Let's change it. Let's get you the tools. Go join our Facebook community so that we can put you in and we can support you. I love it that you are telling me what you're afraid of. What I'd love to do is I'm going to spend several Fridays talking about how you move past these fears, how you get out into the world and claim your power. You guys got it? We can do this together, guys. Nothing can beat us if we stay together as women. I promise you that. We're going to free the women of the world. I am so excited that you are here. We're going to end procrastination. Make the commitment. Take the pledge. Let's end procrastination today. You guys got that? And let's get out and bring the changes into the world that it so desperately needs. It needs us as women. I love you much. I'm Deb Erickson. I want to be your business mindset coach. We'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye, everybody.